So the idea of roundtable is that we all get to speak and ask the hard questions, but also engage and create new ideas, create new ventures together, and it's kind of like a place where we can get vulnerable. We have been getting vulnerable throughout these last few days, but this is the time where you also might see the less vulnerable side of me. And so we'll get started by just talking, because a lot of people are asking, so what are the opportunities in Yoko? And I guess a lot of things have been evolving and things are changing. And so we'll get started with just sharing a little bit of what we have and how what you can do in order to engage in this. And we decided to start with the Netherlands. And we have Ronit and Mir here. And it's exciting that they come here, and we're all going to go there this summer between July 24 and 28 to do Yoko Connect over there. So please join us. It's going to be a much larger event, and we're all going to be camping at this beautiful space that we're seeing will get built much faster than in Costa Rica. Some of that information you heard from Ronit yesterday, and we have this beautiful render of the site map where we have two zones over there. There's 6 types of homes that we're building there. These are modular homes, ecological homes that we're redesigning them to fit to to what's over there, and we want you to know that you have an opportunity to also invest in the Netherlands and own a property there, and own a house there. And the cool thing about the Netherlands, which we don't necessarily have here, is that if a group of people would like to purchase a lot or build a home, even that we're not from the Netherlands, we can, as a group, come in with a structure that is called CV, where we can get financing from Dutch banks, and which is around 7 and 8%, and then buy and then also build a home much easier than what we can do here in Costa Rica. The prices are also more economical. And this is the site map. There are 60 lots available out of the original 65. And there's L shapes, I shapes, and O shapes, and each of those get 2 types of models. And we won't get into that today, but there is a great opportunity to choose a lot in a very good location there, and be part of the starting of what it is Yoko Village in Europe. The lots are starting at 115,000 euros, and the most expensive one is at 170,000 euros, and that could be paid, I guess, over a period of 5 or 10 years, and at a decent interest. So we have some people that have had questions about the Netherlands, and we would like to see if there's anybody who wants to ask anything about our Netherlands project before we go further.
Hi. So I wanted to say about the financing, that basically we already have a deal with a Dutch local bank to finance Dutch and European resident. And now we are coming into a deal to finance international buyers. And they offered us to do this deal via what's called a CV structure. A CV is broadly used in real estate in the Netherlands, and it's a bit similar to the JV structure that is possible here. And what we had in mind is that we would offer a JV starting from 30K to buy one house, the same as Tobias and Jan did here for Villa number 1. And then the opportunity is that we can get around 60% financing from a bank. So it means that if the lot starts from 115, so let's say that if 3 people go together or 4 into investment, we can get the rest of the money to build the house from the bank. And the interest rate is also nicer than what there is here in Costa Rica. So it's between 7 and 8%. And so this is basically the opportunity with financing, which is really nice. And we wanted to propose that whoever wants to commit to the city structure this week, so we would give until the end of this week. I don't really know the date, but I'll tell you later.
The end of next week.
Yeah, like coming week. We will give a 5% discount on the lot. Also, if you don't commit to the JV and you just want to buy a lot, we also want to propose a 5% discount. Yeah.
This is pretty cool because imagine you can get 30K from your life savings, but then everything else will kind of march with the group, with the bank. It's owning a house there, and this is already pretty well funded. This project, and all the infrastructure is there, all the permits are there, all the titles are there, all the stuff that we're struggling here to get longer is already just by default there. So join us to come see it in the festival this summer. Save the date, 24 to 28 of July. So then the other opportunity that we have is with the three beautiful doctors that spoke here a couple of nights ago, and it's the Sangha Debt Offering. And we've done a webinar on this. A lot of you already know this. This is new. So essentially, what we see here on the screen is the phase one of Sangha, which is the hospitality, the pool, the restaurant, the yoga deck. It's beautiful. There's 13 units that are already up and running. 5 are operational, and we're going to build a few more, reach up to 20 with this. So it's a $3 million raise that we're doing. We're going to be sharing agreements with that because there's a lot of people who have already shown interest. 30% on the money that you're going to be investing, collateralized by the real estate, the units, and the permits that we have fully in Sangha. So this is a 24 months length of loan, 50K is the minimum investment, and you also get an additional perk, which is a few nights to stay in Sangha depending on your investment. Very cool. This was originally the co-working and restaurant building that we have planned in Yoko North. What we did is we took out this title lot and we joined it with Sangha. So essentially we made Sangha a little bigger. And since this is right in the continuation on the border of Sangha and Yoko, we're designating this building now for a clinic, but it's also going to have an additional space for co-working and for dining. The collateral there is pretty good because we have the titled land, the lands, which is about 14.5 acres, and we're looking at a very interesting revenue opportunity there from year to year. And yeah, so that's a $3 million raise that we're going to be doing. And join this because this is awesome.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Hello. Yeah, so you're the $27 million loan that you're working on now. You're 60, 90 days away from that. Would this be something that you will apply those funds to, or is the plan to leave that out and use the 27 strictly for developing both properties?
To be completely honest, we did this in case the 27 delays. So we've seen that this we received a term sheet in June, July, and we're right now in January. We went through February, I guess, and we went through, I guess, 8 months of due diligence. We're in the very last phase, but we're still dependent on third parties flying here, working on these reports, and then we're expecting that this will happen over the next 60 days, 90 days. and hopefully not longer. We do see that the fund that is that we're in touch with are very serious, and it seems we feel very adamant that this is happening. However, at the same time, we always have Plan B, and we always work around that things are not going to happen, so we can move them one way or the other. In the worst case scenario, we refinance this loan with a more affordable loan, and we return the funds hopefully 2, 3, 4 months after, instead of 2 years, which is what we're promising here, which is a buffer, and get a few more lenders to be super happy.
So, no, I understanding your intent, but as we also have, so that the group understands, as you've been marching down that road, the bank has now, one of the sticking points was them accepting your methodology for valuation. And they now have given you the nod that they're good with that. Is that correct?
Yes. My partner, David Pervan, made a lot of research regarding valuations, and there are 3 options that we would get evaluated. In the worst option, we're still really good. So that's why we feel very secure. There is an option to get evaluated based on the cost of what the land costs us, based on comparables of the market, and based on the opportunity. We've been promised from the bank that this would be based on the opportunity and could also have a mix of the calculation of the other two models. Yes.
Just wanted to make sure, as we all look at this as an opportunity, what could be, and if we're also doing as an investor, plan A, plan B. Plan A might be the 27 happens in 90 days. You now apply those funds to this, so that's one plan A. Plan B could be that this is going to be a longer term investment, and if you have, God bless, if you're going to have something that 4 or 5 months gets refied, that's interesting. I'd like to hear more about that. Or we go for the ride for the 2 years. So, plan C.
Well, you know this because you've cashed in on that. On this, we've taken $500K a few months ago, and then we suddenly received more money, and we didn't wait for the whole year. We just returned the funds with the interest after less than 3 months. So we're hoping to do that again here. Retreats are on the rise. This is going to be not just the nicest, most magical retreat center in Santa Teresa, but it's also going to be the biggest. It has great potential to do beautiful things here. Yes, more questions?
Hello? Now you can hear my beautiful voice. What is the anticipated construction, what do you need to get done before you can start going vertical on it?
We have all the permits, and we already have existing units built and operational. So what we have is a little bit more work of design, which we're doing, by the way, right now. And then it's just raising the money and going directly for construction and buying the CT, the X-ray, the ultrasound, all the medical equipment that we need. And we're probably going to be raising. So if we get before needed, if we get the 27 on time, we're going to go right away for phase 2, which is to actually build this building.
Can I ask one other question before you start? So, that to me, that is going to be a huge draw for the community, and it benefits everyone in this room if we get this done. So, we know we have the 3 best doctors on the planet, and that this is something that's just really gaining more and more momentum. So as you go down the road to this, where is that location? How accessible is it? Are those any points you want to speak to?
Yes. And it has been my dream to break the road that leads up to Yoko North and make it less steep. We have that plan because there's been some people that when they see, actually when you're going up there, it doesn't look that bad. But that road, we want to improve it and make it less steep. So we're going to get into a project to do that. And we've right there when you go to Sanga and Yoko North, you pass the bridge that we built and the road that we made up. And we'd like to make that access easier. Now, this building is, you can see it here. So this is Sanga, and right next to it, we took lot title number 5 out of Yoko to make it a bigger Sanga. And that makes sense because the building is kind of a little bit out because over there you're going to have medical services and then you have the whole area for the retreats, which is pretty big. And the proximity from here is about 3 to 4 minutes drive. So it's about 5 minutes drive from East Street, and you always need a 4x4 to get there. Sometimes, hopefully next year, we're going to build another bridge for the first river that you guys all cross when you come up here. And there's been 3 years of conversation between the neighbors to pave the whole way from East Street up, and we're sure that's going to happen. And we actually want to be the ones doing it as well. Financially, we haven't had the opportunity to engage in that yet, but that's something we are hoping with more abundance to actually do, and it would be something that we'll do for Santa Teresa to improve all these roads also for the neighbors. So like I say, we're going to have 20 units, communal spaces, event space, pool, restaurant, yoga deck, gym, and spa at Sanga with this first tranche money coming in. Also, just to say this, you have the option to convert the principal and interest at a discounted and become a member with the investment with this lending at Yoko. So in case you wanted next year, instead of cashing in on the returns, maybe use that money and become a member, which is what we're hoping all the members will become. Because right now we have at Yoko about 56 families that are looking to living here all year or parts of the year, and we have maybe another 20 lenders. We want those lenders to become members. Everybody's good folks. A lot of people have been asking about prices and how the price increase is going to work. And we've registered on our website. If you go to yokovillage.com/prices, so you can see what things cost, right? In Yoko South, we have different categories: Ocean View, Prime Ocean View, when you see the waves, or you see 360. We have Forest View, which in my opinion is the best category, and also some valley views and mountain views. Lots have different prices that you can see here. And essentially the big jump is about to happen, right? we're hoping this week, it's Friday, the week ended. We were hoping to break ground this week, but because we're doing all this and we really want to be 100% legal with all the documents, so we skipped another week to make sure we're going to break ground next week at Yoko South, starting to build that road. We've raised the money for the road. It's going to be a great moment for us, and that road is going to put us in a whole different place, the way we're being seen. And so what happens on April 24? That's the time when we are right now expected to receive the titles and already have the road circulating all around Yoko South, and everybody can get to their lots and potentially build with a generator. We won't have the electricity yet. However, this week we spoke to ISE, and we're starting to schedule dates with them for the installations. We want to first break ground, then have the exact week-to-week timeline. So there are two things that are happening. One is the work with the electricity company, so that we can start pushing electricity into Yoko South, and the other thing is that there is a water project that we already started, and that's coming from 300 meters exactly from the entrance to Yoko South from the Asada. So we're going to be getting the water from the Asada, so it's not a well system like we promised. We don't want to dig 1,000 wells that gets dried in the dry season, and then people need to pay for water, and there's no abundance of water. Everybody here knows in Santa Teresa, we have, starting kind of like last week, and until the end of April, very dry summer. Everything gets dried here. The wells get dry, and a lot of people are buying water, including us in this property. And so we have the promise to have the water, all the water necessary for an abundant project. So in April 2024, we are raising the prices towards the market price. If you ask me, when I look at the real estate offices and what's out there, I see similar prices, but more expensive prices, not in gated communities, not where you have a water project and you need to build your own well, not where you have security, not where you have all these additional communal spaces. It's just an incredible community. So we are still, even if you look at the prices in Santa Teresa, you will see that we're still a little bit below market price, even after we increase the prices. Just the prices are really crazy. And we are still going to do a seller financing options. So we've been offering to buy land. You don't need to place this entire amount, but you can come in with 50K, 100K, depending on the land, and you can pay for the next 5 or 10 years with a market interest rate, and you can slowly buy the land. So all that has been offered. We will continue to offer that. Any questions about the prices at Yoko South? All right. So in Yoko North, there's 3 things that one could join, and one of those is a titled lot, lot number 3. So we have the villa, the first villa, the second villa, and that third lot that is for sale at 300K, has access to water, electricity, and fiber optic internet. Also, the JV is selling the villa because we've agreed from the very beginning that as soon as the villa is built, we're going to put it in the market. We already put it in some real estate agencies, and it's going for 1.4 right now. And I'm assuming nobody's going to buy it now, but in a year from now, maybe or 2, we'll sell it for 2 million. Because once the market goes back or gets back, we don't foresee it coming back in 2024 with the interest rate that much. So we're not counting on anything this year, but we do see this going to be very successful. Then there is the JV at Villa Number 1, where we are still accepting a few tickets. So just to quickly recap, right? Tobias said it, our spokesman, and the guy who's been helping us creating the joint ventures in Yoko. So we're going to do this joint venture and buy lot number 4. Instead, we decided to just buy the existing house, and we were going to raise $800,000 to build a new home, but we ended up raising $550,000. So there is another $250,000 that we can accept for JV for the existing villa number 1. And yes, so you guys know this villa, and depending on the amount of the investment, you can also stay there a few nights of the year or at a discount during the peak season. And the new joint venture. Okay, that's the last one. So kind of similar to JV at Villa Number 1, there is a lot at Villa Number 11, which is halfway built. And we got a question here.
Hi. How is the short-term rental on JV1 going currently? Or is that until you fulfill the offering on hold?
So the villa is being rented. It's been about 1 month in the market. I'm not sure how much it made. Yeah, we're supposed to get the monthly statement to you guys now because the end of the first month, and I believe around 6,000 or 7,000.
Oh, okay. It's more about days per month than numerical.
How much it's expecting to make?
Or rate of occupancy.
Rate of occupancy. So the rates of occupancy in Santa Teresa have changed a lot during the last 4 years of that I've been here full time, and we're seeing around the low season we're seeing around 50-60% occupancy on average, and in the high season we're seeing 85-90% occupancy. When it's the first year of the villa, it's still accumulating reviews, and it's less known, so there's no returning customers. It's still gathering up positioning. So usually the first year is a little bit less.
When I used to have all my friends rent one night, and then I'd refund their money, and they'd give a 5-star review, so it'd come to market as a super host already.
That is definitely something we've done for other properties here. We know this trick very well, and it's great to do this in the low season, because when you're actually you're paying money to get another review. During the high season, you're actually blocking the dates that you can book, so it's a little bit tricky. But definitely in the low season, if it hasn't reached, we probably won't. So we'll be engaging in those tricks. We like tricks.
We have already 5-star reviews.
Yes, there are some 5-star reviews already.
Real boats.
Yeah.
Really
Really
I'm going to share really quickly. This villa is located, it's a 2-bedroom villa, and it's located on the most private lot at the end, looking at the back, the beautiful mountain and valley view. So it has beautiful green view. You can't see any homes when you're just looking at beautiful green nature. If you ask me, it's better than the ocean view. Especially after a few years and you see the ocean view, it's so much blue. But the green is always beautiful. And so this lot has about 1,400 square meters, or about a third of an acre. It's a small lot, 2 master bedrooms, swimming pool, big parking. If you ask me to make it another bedroom or even another unit to rent. And we're going to start a quick video so you guys can see just how this looks a little bit. So that works. And the hard part has been done, right? So contention walls, putting this unit inside there has been done. The people who bought this, good friends of ours, simply cannot afford to finish the build. It's going to cost about $350,000, which is the quote we've gotten from our construction partner, to finish it. And as we know, to make it nice, we'll need another $50,000 of furniture and appliances. And so, yeah.
Laurent,
Yeah.
will the wellness center provide rooms, or will those that use the wellness center that come down the docks to treat, will they need to rent these homes?
The wellness center is separate to Yoko, and we're assuming that when it's going to be full, it's going to add occupancy. We're also doing a lot of marketing, and we're expecting that Yoko community would be also occupying these homes. And since it's a really growing community now, it's only like maybe between our social media and email list, we're being followed by 50,000 people, but incredible engagement, and so, let's do the math here for a second. This is, in my opinion, the very best financial opportunity in Yoko Village today, and that is because to finish the house, all in all, we're looking at about $716,000 with the furniture and appliances, a little bit more. But go find a home in a location like this with finishes, with the quality of the architecture that we're building here, that everybody now already knows, and see if you can't find anything like that in less than $2 million. So the entry at 700 is just great. And so welcoming you all to check out this incredible opportunity and create another JV. Yes, the dog's there. Any questions about this opportunity?
So maybe not so much a question, but more a comment on that. We have a WhatsApp group already established for this one, and so far easy commitments are between 200 and 300,000. So if someone wants to join, just let us know, and we invite you to the WhatsApp group, and then we see if we can move forward.
Fantastic. Yeah. So this WhatsApp group, I just saw it. Things are moving fast here, which is great. Yeah. Let's wait for the dogs to. Another great thing that I love about this is just the quietness and the sounds of nature that this location has. In Santa Teresa, it's very hard to not hear sounds of quads and bikes out of almost any villa, and it doesn't matter how luxurious it is. What we're doing in Yoko is we'd like to spread things a little bit more apart, so we're less in that. But the real dream is to have electrical vehicles coming in and have less density. Now this home, it's tucked there in this angle in the back, up the mountain. It will never hear anyone, and it's very rare, especially for us, those are sensitive to sound.
Oh yeah, I don't think I need it. To clarify, it sounds like you have a JV potential that you're kind of raising already, or you might be, and then there's also the opportunity to buy in at 700, and you turn it. I think we were talking about this when we visited the other day. A 5,000 meter agricultural plot, correct? So there's two options for entry. Just to clarify.
So to answer this, the original lots at Yoko North were intended to be with the number 48. That's the number of lots we're showing on our site now. But that's what we wanted when we got started. Today we think it's too many homes and it's going to destroy the forest. We don't want to do that. So we have an idea where we would scratch out our original vision to build a 48 home community. We were planning to do that before we knew we were going to have Yoko South, which is so much bigger of a development, right? Where today we see a lot of opportunities. Most of the Yoko members, or almost everyone, have moved to Yoko South. And so, in order to, so these were 48 lots of about a quarter of an acre or 1,000 square meters. And our idea is to change the use of the lots to be registered as agricultural lots, which are 1.2 acres or 5,000 square meters, essentially making the lots 5 times bigger. That is what we are probably going to do as soon as this home is being built, because we actually can't do it while this home is there. That may take between 3 and 6 months, and that lot will suddenly become the title that's 5 times bigger. And that same joint venture will most probably have more space to build another home if needed, or maybe do some sort of a deal, which will make the deal even sweeter. I don't know if that answered your question. Super. Yes.
I have a question about Sangha. If I understood correctly from the presentation, it's going to have 20 rooms, but this is 20 glamping, 20 rooms in the main building.
So today we have 13 glampings, the 5 that are operational and the 8 that are still operational. And we're going to build more glampings. And the idea of these glampings are at phase 1 should reach 20. However, we want to build also smaller glampings because we don't see a need to cut even one tree in Sangha. So the idea is to go a bit smaller and a little bit actually more luxurious with that, with the decrease of the size, and reach 20 units. On the second phase, we'll have another 20 units and potentially more. So that's the amount of units.
But it would all be glamping.
It will all be glamping, yes. And this glamping, we have one here at the back. She's beautiful. I think Derek is staying there. I don't know if he's here. And that one we built without experience. And so to make sure it's safe, we covered it with metal. And today we don't actually use metal in the glamping. It's all made out of locally sourced wood from pig farms, and so very ecological, beautiful units, and made out of fabric. And they're great units, and everybody seems to really love them. It's been very successful, the rentals of the 5 existing units so far. And that's been at about 90% occupancy. Yes. So we're here because we get to ask any questions, and it's not just you in front of me, David, that we can talk about anything, ask the hard questions, anything that bothers you about what we do here. A lot of people in town saying, Yoko, these people, Iran, this guy, all kinds of rumors out there, but a lot of love as well. So if anybody want to ask about anything you might feel worried about, things that you see or that you feel that you want to ask, here's the time. Yeah.
Yay! So, let's think 2 to 3 years down the road, when you fully envision Yoko community completely full, are you planning on selling these lots to anyone who's interested, or is there any type of selection in a way to be able to bring diversity into the community? So yeah, I'm just curious about that.
It's a good question, and the selection so far has been natural. And what I guess has been happening is when somebody has been very transactional about the purchase, it usually doesn't work. And I could say this, we've also been, so we're about to get to the next stage where we're actually more advanced, all the titles, all the development, all the funding. We didn't have this up until now. We still don't have it fully, but we're right there. And so everybody that have made an investment in Yoko did it because they see the vision and they see the community and they really care about this. And so when they started calculating their ROIs, they also see it's a good, that part also works well. So it's been people who liked us, who liked the vision, and because of that have engaged with us. It's been people who've been following us and following, every month we send a newsletter. We try to be as transparent as possible. We try to talk about all the problems. And that talking about problems doesn't always buy. Not everybody wants to buy when they hear the problems. We've been very transparent about all our different situations, and I think there's a lot of love thanks to that. Now, how is that going to happen as the time grows? I believe it's going to be the same. And the reason is, there are plenty of developments here. There are plenty of opportunities. This place is growing big time. And at the end of the day, we don't want to come up with a list of requirements of who you have to be, but we don't make it kind of like naturally, we don't make it easy for you to purchase. You need to fill this very long application form, and you read it, and then we go with you on a Zoom call, or you come here and you spend time in our events, and we don't go to just, we used to do this in the beginning when we were just getting started. So we would take you out at dinner and get to know you a little bit, and that would be it. And then we saw we can't really connect with people in a more profound way, and that's how we started doing these events and creating this community space. So whoever really wants to come and join the community can actually spend time with us and can really get to know them. Now, obviously, that's not bulletproof, but if there are better ways to do that, I'd love to get some feedback.
So, I think to your point, you think about word of mouth, right? Grassroots advertising. So we have 47. How many sold total?
In total, there are 56.
56. So we've got 56, and how many left to sell? If we were to fill it up, what's the total number?
So in Yoko South, we have over 100 parcels that are available. Not all of them are in the right locations, so you won't get the sound of the road. Not all of them have the ocean views that people want. Not all of them offers, but we have a lot of land to sell. In Yoko North, it's going to be reduced substantially to the agricultural, so only 13 for sale.
My feeling is everyone, we want to control who comes in. We got to bring our friends. We got to talk it up in our warm circle, in our direct circle. And I think we have the opportunity to control that, and just we want to be. I think this, and I'll just speak for myself. We have not been to a Yoko Connect yet. It didn't work out time-wise. Wanted to be here, couldn't. Having been here, this is blowing me away. I mean, it's blowing us away. This is what we want, right? So every one of the people that are people that we influence in our lives, that are our friends, we're telling them all about it. And now we'll have more passion along with that. But I'm thinking if we all wanted to bring a friend to the next Yoko Connect and say, hey, if you have someone that has expressed interest to understand about, a little bit more about Yoko, we're having Yoko Connect, and each one of the members can bring a guest, and a guest couple. And everybody pays their way, but when somebody comes to this, they want to be part of this. You've been talking community this whole time. I would tell you that community is what is getting blown up out there. And people, and every one of our speakers have talked about how community is what is necessary for us to have quality life, to be happy. When you're happy, you have quality life. So everyone in this room, and I will just tell everyone here, Wendy and I are loving meeting everyone here and becoming part of this community. And we are like going, okay, this is the community. And we look forward to an extension of that with connections and talking to one another, through WhatsApp, that app thing. Yeah, I know. And I've always made fun of that. But at the end of the day, like, we're meeting couples that we're going, okay, well, we got to go dive together. We're going to go fishing together. We get our kids together. Think about our kids growing up. So now you start having that conversation because the people that are close to us, they're looking for community. Because this does not exist, not easily. There are the communities, YPO is what we had. I was chairing YPO in Houston. Everybody's joined up, but everyone's all about showing what they have, and it's all about what car you drive. That's superficial stuff. What was happening here, at least to me, this is real, and it's sincere. It comes from the heart, and so I think what you are talking about here, we got a wellness center, we have 3 of the most awesome dudes running that gig, and that's gonna be driving more interest in this. Their warm communities and their reputations are gonna drive more people here. Those people that are here are gonna look around and go, wait a minute, tell me about this. And I see that. I see getting our loan done. As soon as we have roads in this thing, it's game over. But to me, I think what you've done, and I want to just speak to everybody, this dude and your team are amazing. And you're the most tenacious guy I've ever, you guys that are on WhatsApp, I'm always telling everybody, this dude is the definition of tenacity. And thank you for that, because what you've built and what we are going to build together. We do. I mean, you're making this happen. And I think, the JV guys, we're loving this. And it's not like you got to do a whole lot of homework. Plus, just to be partners with friends, guys that you can call friends with. So, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Kevin. We have an incredible team also as board members, where we do a monthly conversation. We get a lot of good advice, and there's been a lot of support from the community. The Yoko team, we sometimes yell at each other. And there's a lot of nasty things that could happen when you go into construction. There's a lot of mud sometimes. And I guess what you guys see here is kind of like we get to rest and enjoy. This is probably the best week for us, for the team, to enjoy all you guys coming here. And so we really appreciate it. It's giving us a lot of power, and knowing that we're building this for ourselves, for us to be neighbors and have a beautiful place, and maybe one day, even spend the rainy season here in the Netherlands, and more places and have that additional freedom, which is part of the Yoko Village vision, to just live a healthier life and have additional freedoms and enjoy community and feel that we really could relate to our neighbors. So obviously the real estate part is the financial driver of all this, since we have to have this conversation, and it's always better to do it out loud. And if there is anything that we can do to create additional transparency, then we welcome that. And so,
is there something you could just tell everyone when we go home and we start that first conversation? What's the elevator pitch that we can give them that's going to cause them it's a call to action? To say, now's the time, because before this deal is done, before we get roads in, before these things are going up in April, act now. I mean, I think if everyone were to just talk to one person in there to say, I'm gonna find one person in my circle of influence that if I identify them, that person, I'll get them on the phone with you.
and we'll offer we offer, like anyone in Santa Teresa. I don't know if you guys know this, but in Santa Teresa, everybody's a realtor. Everyone you see on the street, and everybody gets a realtor fee, and it's kind of like the law of the land. So we also would offer some bonus for anybody bringing that friend, and encouraging you to do what Kevin is saying here, because that is our way to attract more friends and grow this community.
Well, we can't all just expect you to do it. So my deal is all about team, right? So if everyone here says, you know what, I'm going to take on the responsibility, because you do. We have a responsibility to make this thing just all it can be and more. So let's agree to say, yeah, there are some people I know. They would love it down there. And that person has the ability to afford it, and I'm going to make that introduction. If every one of those 50 made one introduction, I think that would be a nice way to start some momentum, get some inertia going, so that you're not carrying all this water by yourself. It's our responsibility too, because we have a vested interest. So while we have a vested interest, we need to figure it out as well, and all help. Everyone I've met here, super smart folks. This is the average IQ in this room, and business acumen is off the chart. So let's figure it out. Let's help. That's why we talk all the time, because I want to help. And I think if we all have that kind of a mentality, this thing gets done in a heartbeat. We just need to we want to help you. And we could all do that. That would be my call to arms, that everyone here say, hey, you know what, I'm going to commit to help. I'm just not going to be a passenger I'm gonna put a shoulder behind the wheel, and I'm gonna help make this happen.
That makes all the difference.
Yeah.
And so living close to nature and a community that aspires for well-being and connected with the community, that would be my elevator pitch. It's very simple. It's what we all want.
I'm gonna have to
Good job.
Kevin's. You guys hear me? No. No. Okay. You hear me now? Okay. I just want to add to Kevin's call to arms. All right. I thought that road trip that you guys did before, are you guys going to do that again? Because that would be a perfect opportunity for us to gather our circle of people together to see you guys. I think it'd be good for them to hear directly from the Yoko team.
So we are open to do additional road trips, but what we found when we went to the U.S., aside that we bumped into the investors in the first week. We didn't know it. We continued because we were like, we don't know what's going to happen with these guys. Is that when people are not really here, like you even, like you, we had this like chemistry on Zoom, you know, we joined a bunch of webinars, we spoke about it, and you winded up taking a leap of faith coming in and just feeling it out with this JV. But we saw that people outside, people who don't know Santa Teresa and are not here, it's like we're talking Chinese to them. They just don't get it. But what we can do is we can, I don't know about this. What we can do is we can create for your friends a weekend of an experience and get them to come here and then they would get it. So, and we would we can talk about this later, but let's do it.
I want to add to that. I feel like this is the best. Like this event is probably the best way that you can get people's buy-in. So inviting people into Yoko Connect is probably the best experience of the community. Like, I think this is the best way to attract people. It's like, hey, come to Yoko Connect. You've experienced it. You have the experience. Like, this is what brings us together. Like, I feel like I've gained like 20 different friends in every Yoko Connect. That's why I've been to 3 of them. I'm all in Yoko because of this. So I think this is the best way to spread the word. It's like inviting people here.
You know, I'm talking to my friends and they're saying,
Yeah.
when I call people, they're going, man, what you know like on? What kind of drugs are you doing? And I tell them, I say, well, I am smoking a little pot. And somebody missed me for the mushrooms. But at the end of the day, you know, I had to look. If I had, I would have ended up going on stage and grabbing your headpiece, putting it on, and dancing with it. But I think that's so true because everyone here is going to go home going, this thing was amazing. Oh my gosh, I feel so good. Well, everyone wants to feel that, right? So while the iron's hot, let's all commit to grabbing a couple people. I talked to a buddy today, and he was like, okay, I'm coming down next time you're going down there because I guess we got to be a neighbor. And I said, you absolutely do, but you better hurry or just take my word for it and send a check because this thing's going to, once the momentum really picks up, it's over.
We've seen that there is something very unique to what we do here specifically, and it feels that there's a lot of love. That everybody, it's a professional community. It's a community of entrepreneurs. It's a community that has, at least I counted 14 doctors. Of the 56, there are at least 14 doctors, maybe more. And it's just people that are all sharing similar values and wanting the same thing. And it's our job to be at service for you also. We can all do it together. But ask me hard questions now because this is getting to, I'm almost embarrassed.
I just wanted to add to what you said, and Kevin, that I was in investment in the Netherlands for years. I worked with a lot of Israeli investors. Every investor that wanted to invest, they came in the Netherlands, they did the tour, they saw the properties. It's like 4 or 5 hours flight. you guys that you're from the States. And you can bring your friend, like we need to travel up the world to get here. But you can bring your friends with like 2, 3, 4 hour flight, it's nothing. And I think that for people that are seriously thinking about purchasing, coming over here is not a big thing, and maybe Yoko can pitch in and do like, if you bring a potential investor friend, Yoko gives 2 nights in the Sangha or something like that to attract people to come here, because I agree that when people come here, or when my investors came to the Netherlands and they saw those beautiful monumental buildings, then they wanted to invest. That's how it goes. People need to feel the earth.
I have a couple questions. I know. I don't want to surprise. I have a couple questions.
When are the microphones going to work? That's my question. Can you tell us what is, I know, just want to make sure I'm highly effective. I have a couple questions. When you think about this, I guess the general vicinity, Santa Teresa or the surrounding area, this northern peninsula, who are the competitors to Yoko Village? I have a couple, 2 other questions.
Yes, so there is a project right here behind called the Arc.
The ARK, A-R-K. I saw that.
We don't feel like it's a competitor, but I guess it is.
How big is it? How many are they developing the same amount of property? How do you see them as a competitor? Because there was a guy, Bruce, here last night, and I think he was super into the vibe, and just like everything Kevin is saying, and of course Liz and I and other people who create a community subscribe to everything that's being said, which is that once you come and you taste and you feel and you put your feet on the soil, of course that's how I sell my community space also. Come once you feel the energy. That's what really sells and closes the deal, so to speak. But right now is for the hard questions. So he had mentioned some other community that's down on the beach, but it sounds like maybe it was a small space with just a few units. And so this is a massive property. I mean, this is 250 or 300 acres, right? So what's comparable to this in the vicinity that's an investment opportunity for people who want to come to this area also?
That's the mic.
Well, I have more questions, but you want me to hand it to him?
Yes. So nobody has the size that we do right now in Santa Teresa. We didn't plan it, but we did become the biggest developers in town. We also have very beautiful topographies. The competitors that we have here are about cowland, so there's no trees and there's not that much views. But looking at what we're doing, they've done some similar things. And there is another one in Delicias, which is a little bit not as good as a location, called Punta Vista. It's another competitor, a lot more expensive, and also been the ones that have been giving us a hard time. And then there is also there's going to be a marina in Tambor. I don't know if you all know about this. There's been an investment. I actually spoke to the developer last week. $560 million have been invested there. So that whole area is becoming, and so there's more projects over there that are starting to pop next year. None of these projects has community base, and also our competitors, they don't do this. The founders don't expose themselves to, this is a lot of work. This community building costs a lot of money. And so I haven't seen anything like this yet, but I'm hoping there will be more, because this is needed and we won't have space to accept everyone eventually.
So she has more questions.
So my next question is about, like, when you ask the real, the difficult question. So we were staying at Sitaya and we didn't have water maybe twice. And I feel like maybe electricity, you have your home here. And so I'd love to, I know it's been a few years, so can you talk to us, real talk, how often is the electricity going out? How often is the water going out? Like what percentage of the days throughout each month are we experiencing things like that? Because for those of us who invest and come just a few days, is there a high likelihood that we're going to have interruptions to our experience, or that our tenants who might be renting or doing the Airbnb in the properties that we invest in are experiencing this, and therefore we're not getting 5-star reviews? How do you see impact that way?
Great question.
Okay, so how many times I've been on my computer on a Zoom call and suddenly it breaks and I go, and this happens a lot here. Now, there are solutions, and I can't say, that we've been trying that much to prevent those, but everything is any interruption of electricity, water, or internet is completely solvable. It's just a matter of taking care of this, which most don't do. Now, okay, so the water. At Yoko, we're doing a water project. We're not counting on the wells. So the wells between now, the end of January and end of April, they dry up. And so if they didn't have a person that checks, or they didn't check what's the situation with the water, they don't have a proper deposit of water, at one point it runs out. And by the time they need to call the water truck, you're out of water, bad review, bad business. And so with the water project, that gets resolved. We have the water situation resolved. It's just a question of funding. So we have the agreement with Yasada. In Yoko South, it's really taking place already. In Yoko North, it's a little bit more complicated and it's more expensive, but we're going to solve that. So I can't answer if you're going to go and buy, like what I did here. I went, by the way, this property inspired me to build Yoko, because I was like, there's no real community here, and the roads are always in bad shape, and nobody cares that there's no water, that everybody, so that is, and having management is such an important thing, right? And so electricity is something that goes off a lot in Santa Teresa. It has been improving year after year. So the way it improved since I got here 4.5 years ago till today is remarkable. It's literally probably, I would say 10x better. But it's still a lot of interruptions, right? So what you need to have is you need to have a big battery in your house, and you need to change the battery once a year, because otherwise it won't work. And the battery is going to hit once the electricity drops, allowing the router to give you internet. And sometimes people don't change these batteries every year, or they buy a cheap battery, and that's when, and then you can't deal with it. Now, when the whole grid comes out, that's where everybody here has generators. The generators are a great solution, but they make a lot of sound, because especially if they work on. So if you in advance plan your house and you put a generator in a place that you would prevent the sound. So if you do that in advance, you work that thing out. So because you wake up in the morning and the fridge is not working all night, and you're starting to lose your food. That's not nice. So there is solutions. Now you can buy. We just did this after 4 years. We bought a generator for $24,000. And that one is a fairly quiet one, and it's a big one. We just don't have the right place to put it yet. But that thing would power up your house for a couple of weeks, or a full festival for 4 or 5 days. Luckily, the power breaks, they never go more than 24 hours. Usually, it's just a few hours, and but always resolvable. Now with the internet. Now we have Starlink in Costa Rica. I think Starlink is also ramping up to its full capacity. It hasn't reached there yet in Costa Rica, because we've been experimenting it. We have it here. So what you do is you get the fiber optic, but you also get Starlink, and you get a router that connects between both. So if ISE and the fiber optic. And we had here Wild Sun, and they were explaining how 98% of the cables are not insulated. The monkeys jump on them. It's essentially traps, and then you don't have electricity or internet, and even worse, the monkey dies. Right? So these things are there. It's part of what this place is, and there's no utopia anywhere, even in paradise.
Can I ask a question about? I just want to ask.
There's also dengue here.
Can I just?
Sorry.
Is my voice loud enough?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just question. I hear some of your solutions. I'm looking at your metal roofs, and I'm also thinking about backup for power. You haven't mentioned solar voltaic, and you haven't mentioned water catchment. Are those things you would consider, or the reasons you ruled them out?
Absolutely wanting to get there as soon as possible. Yes, and nobody's capturing water in these areas. In Costa Rica, nobody knows how to do this. Yes, as far as everywhere I went, I haven't seen anyone who's catching water in a sustainable, responsible way. I have spoken to water experts around Costa Rica, and I'm still waiting to see what we can do, and if not, bring outside help to figure that out, because there is so much water here.
Yes, that Ulcer or Art Ludwig might be people you can reach out to. They're not here, but they're worth reaching out to. Get me later.
Definitely.
I can help with that.
Yeah, exactly.
So we just engaged Kent to work with. We just engaged Kent to work with the building of our home to do what you were just talking about over here, in the presentation. And if anybody wants to, hop on that train, we know the guy. And to your point, and he's right here, and we can keep everything, ecologically. We can be the model that everybody wants to see. I mean, this is
That's what we want.
the
Yes.
opportunity.
I'd love to actually hear more about the water project.
Me too.
Yeah.
So the water project in Yoko South essentially is bringing the pipes from the Asada, from where they are right now, which is about 300 meters away. We get to the front of the property. Then once we make the road, the first thing is we start pulling the pipes throughout the road, and then we go into the internal roads. We put the pipes in the internal roads, and we're going to connect all the lots with water.
So it's the public water system.
It's public water, yes. Then in Yoko North, we have a longer route to go between neighbors. We've negotiated with the neighbors this passing through their property because they also want it. Nobody just wants to pay the bill, and we're going to be paying the bills, I guess, to make it happen. That's it. That's mostly the information I can give now in this early stage. Once the water is there, we have water treatment plant. There's been last year we connect here a woman named Nitzan. She's an Israeli engineer that is specialized with water. She's helping a lot of people in Osara connect the water systems in a responsible manner between the whole place. And we'd like to create a similar initiative with her here once things are a little bit more cooked. And so it's almost 7:30, and we're going to go have dinner. But maybe somebody would like to ask one last question. All right. Ready for some food? And thank you for taking the time to sit here with me.